All right, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Please take your seat. For this service, you will want to have a handout so you can follow what we're doing, and you'll want to have a prayer book so you can follow along. Happy to have you here. And to our friends on Zoom, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us. I hope all is well. I hope you're all healthy. Shabbat Shalom. So, we're going to begin with a nigun. A nigun is a song without words, except la 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 la. And we give thanks to the Hasidic tradition for giving us this concept of nigun, N-I-G-G-U-N, as a way of transcending words and just allowing the melody to move through. Speaking of move, I noticed that there's been some switching of spots. It's lovely. Goes like this. Ya la 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 la. That's it. Again. Ya la 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 Let's turn to page 120. For those of us who are new to a Jewish service, our prayer book is called a Sidur, and it opens from right to left. And because Hebrew goes from right to left, and the word Sidur comes from the word meaning order, and so there's an order to all of our liturgy, and it is found on the inside of your handout. So, Roberta. Oh, how lovely. Roberta and Robin. Please stand, page 120, as our beloved friends, Roberta and Robin, come forward and bring in the lights of Shabbat.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kisanu b'mitzvotav, ketzivanu, lehadrik ner shel
Shabbat Shalom. Please give a hug or a smile or a handshake or something to So if you look at your handout, you see we have the Ten Commandments with some cracks on it, right? the first time Moses goes up to Mount Sinai to receive the Ten Commandments, his sense of time is not the same sense of time as those waiting for him. And anyway, he was late. In returning, they lose faith, they give up, they're waiting, their hearts are broken. They turn back to the golden calf, and they create a golden calf. And when Moses sees that, he smashes the tablets. So it's in that spirit that we call tonight healing to be done. Right? And if you open it up, you'll see two pictures of a cow. One is a red heifer, and one is a golden calf. So this particular Shabbat is called Shabbat Parah, the Sabbath of the cow. And Shabbat Parah, or red heifer, takes place on the Shabbat preceding Shabbat HaChodesh, which is next Friday, as we start preparing for Passover. Purim just happened here. Oh my goodness, it was so joyful, so fabulous, so much fun, and now it's over and we get ready for Passover. Moving on. So in Numbers 12, 1 through 2 deals with the red heifer, all red heifer, totally red heifer, whose ashes were combined with water for ritual purity. It says, God spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, this is the law of the Torah that God has commanded. Instruct the Israelite people to bring you a red cow unblemished, in which there is no defect, in which no yoke has been laid. And then that animal, a long time ago, in the tradition of long time ago, would have been offered up and the ashes used to, if somebody came in contact with the dead in any way, whether it was carrying a casket, whether it was washing the body, that's considered a great act of love and compassion. It also turns them into a state of impurity because they were in direct contact with something that is not living, and so the ashes of the red heifer would bring them back to a sense of what is considered purity. So my friend Rabbi Lauren Eckler-Birkin wrote, there is a certain irony when Parshat Ki Tisa falls on Shabbat Parah. In our weekly Torah portion, we read about the sin of the golden calf, which is underneath, right? In the closing section for this special Shabbat, a few weeks before Pesach, Passover, it's traditional to read about the ritual of the red heifer. 2 cows on one Shabbat. I guess you could say, holy cow. I'm just kidding. 1 cow represents our complete... that was funny. Gosh. 1 cow... Now he's laughing. 1 cow represents our complete abandonment of God a mere 40 days after the revelation at Mount Sinai, right? Because our people were so distraught that they turned to a golden calf. And the other cow represents our ability to purify ourselves in the face of defilement. So tonight is going to be a very, very special Shabbat. It's our social action Shabbat, where we welcome once a month activists, individuals who show up for justice, for a myriad of issues. And this evening, Shabbat activists are from Authentic Voices from the Spiritual Life Center. And they will be sharing some of the topics that will unfold more fully when they join us on Sunday, March 26th. So I welcome you to this Shabbat, that I ask God to bless us with intention, that our melodies and our prayers and our teaching will bring healing to places within us that feel shaken or broken or shattered. And may this be God's will. So, amen. So let's turn now as we welcome the Sabbath bride, page 138. Just as the prophet Elijah comes to every single Seder and every single Havdalah, Sabbath bride comes to Shabbat. La 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 Holy Shalom, Ateret Malam, Gam B'Simcha U'Tohara, Toch Emunei Am Seulah, Bo Bichala, Bo Bichala. Let's turn to page 144. We can remain standing for the Chatzi Kaddish. Nitkadah Shemei Rabbah, V'amad Yivrach Yirtiv Yamich Machutei, B'chayechol Yom Echol, U'v'chayedacho Beit Yisrael, Bagala, U'bizman Karim, Vayimeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Levorah, La'alam Almaya, Yitbarach B'Shabbat, Yitpa'ar B'Truma V'Naseh, V'Tadar, V'Tala, Shemei Kudusha, Le'ela Mikol B'chata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nel V'Mata, Ta'amira V'Amad, Vayimeru Amen. Page 146. Please be seated. So we turn to our prayer of creation that we recite in the evening. And speaking of seasons changing, what happens on Sunday around 2 a.m.? Don't forget, right? Forward, right? So you go to bed at 11, but it's really now 12. Spring ahead, right? That's all we have to remember about. So, what is your understanding as to why we do that? Anybody? Why is that change? Yes?
So the kids don't have to go to school in the dark.
Ah, okay, I accept that. Yes?
Either World War I or World War II is when we decided to do it so that there would be increased hours for production. And unfortunately, even if the state decides that they no longer want to switch back and forth, it takes a 2/3 vote of Congress to get that through.
Good luck
Good
with
luck
that.
with that.
Yeah. Most of us grew up with the understanding that it was for the farmers. But I read did you read it in the Bee today? It was talking about the use of electricity and conservation and I don't know. All I can tell you is that please change your clocks. Because we have religious school, we have fun things happening. So let's offer a prayer for this incredible world. The rains that fall, the winds that blow, and those persistent almond blossoms that keep trying to just stay on the branches, right? Together on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars and their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings light. So we continue on page 150 with the prayer that it's a love prayer. It speaks of God loving us and giving us the ability to keep learning, and the blessing of Torah and mitzvot, good deeds, is a way to channel our energy. Page 150. Adonai, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. ואורך ימינו ובתגן יום המלאכה יום המלאכה אל תסיר ממנו לעולם אביב. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Please stand for Shabbat. Please be seated. On page 154, we're reminded of how we are to love God with our hearts and our entire being, and to teach what we know and to share it via page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. Let's read an interpretation of that on page 155 together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. So we continue with a prayer of freedom on page 158. We think about whatever challenges are before all of us and ask God to give us the courage to keep trying to cross over to get to a better place. Page 158. Ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Let's turn to page 160. This is a prayer that asks for protection and safety, and we read it together. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'olamo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukkah shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'akol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'akol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'akol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'akol amo Yisrael. Continue on page 162. We've been celebrating Shabbat every week for a really long time. So far, so good. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat lasot et haShabbat ledorotam b'ritolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat lasot et haShabbat ledorotam b'ritolam. Be'ni b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat lasot et haShabbat ledorotam b'ritolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat lasot et haShabbat ledorotam b'ritolam. Uvayom hashvini Shabbat vayinapash, Shabbat vayinapash, Shabbat vayinapash. B'nei Yisrael et haShabbat lasot et haShabbat ledorotam b'ritolam. So we entered Tefillah together, page 164. Please stand. Adonai sefatati page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Tzidkenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanurah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Libnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Yavah, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen. Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibur le'elam Adonai, Mechayeh hiktimat harav Oshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechaker chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh metim b'rachami rabi, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidomelach, Melech medid, Umachayeh, Umatzliach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot chachom, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'achol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yazu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. Please take your time with the readings. up to page 178. And when you feel like you've completed or found something to focus on, please be seated quietly. Please join with me on page 173. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us, 173, from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humanness. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 175. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, U'tahil ratzon, Tamid avodat Yisrael, Yisrael Amecha, Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha v'yira navod, navod. We end this very sweet section of prayer with words of gratitude on page 176. So as we sit quietly, let's think about any blessings, miracles of today that just happened. So let's think about that, and then we'll chant the prayer for peace together. Page 178. Shalom Rav Yisrael Tassim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael amachar tasim emunam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol edu posha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rabba Yisrael amachar tasim leolam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael amachar tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamarech et amo b'shalom. My friends, we turn in our Siddur to page 371. We send our love to all those who are in need of healing. We're going through a challenging time of their body and their mind and their spirit, their heart. We ask for prayers for Penny Clark and Janice Schulman, Bendon John and Juliana Blue, Arlen Opper. Sandy, may your healing continue and continue and continue. John Noxon, Faith Gobuddy, Meredith Rosenberg, Carol Westmiller, Jerry Steinpe, Benjamin Hess, Sandra Albert, Marna McHenry, Maida Simpson, Bill Roselle, Mark Snyder, Stanley Mendelson, Celia Kessler, Macy Linder, Jean Beeman, David Hale. Are there any others that we're praying for tonight for healing?
Rosh Hashanah, Ellie Davis,
Noel Miner, David Hale.
Cheryl Dalton,
Ellen Nathan.
Sarah Lopes. Rebecca Rutherford, Julie Redestage, Linda Truss, Tammy Salcido, Maria Raptis, Stanley Carter, and Tony Maynard.
So we open up our heart and we ask God to be with everybody who's going through a journey of healing. Bless them with strength and courage and hope and love and really good doctors. So let's join together on page 371. Misha Be'erach Avotenu Mekor Habracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Be'erach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the please turn in your Siddur to page 650 as we offer this chant before Barbara Beeman introduces our speakers, our authentic voices. So the words on page 60 are V'taher libeinu la'avdecha ve'emet. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. You know, keep them clean, make them clean. Help us keep our hearts clean so that we can do God's work. It goes like this. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'avdecha ve'emet. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'avdecha ve'emet. Here's the la la part. La 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 la. Ya la 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 from the top. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'avdecha ve'emet. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'avdecha ve'emet. Purify our hearts, dear God, so that we can serve you in truth. Amen. So I'd like to invite Barbara Beeman, beloved member of our community, and to come up and introduce a really wonderful teaching for tonight.
Hi, I wanted to invite you to a wonderful performance that's happening at Beth Shalom on March 26th at 4. It's called Authentic Voices, and it's a reader's theater. And the way this came to Beth Shalom is a few months ago, my friend Jeanette Egan, who's a member of the Center for Spiritual Life, sent out a flyer about this performance. And I and a lot of other people were very intrigued when we went to see it. And if you don't know about the Center of Spiritual Life, it's sort of a non-denominational, inclusive faith community. When you walk into the building, there are symbols of all different faiths from around the world. It's very open and loving and welcoming. And the performance fits right into the spirit of Center for Spiritual Life. So what it is it's a reader's theater of people who are telling their stories. It's done in a way which is, there's no lecture or preaching, it's just the telling of their stories. And they're told in with music and with humor and with movement. It's very engaging, but it's also very powerful. It really touched me in a way I think you just have to experience that. And the telling of the stories is really the experience of being the other in some way, whether it's through racism or sexism or ageism or, you know, having a disability, sexual orientation, gender orientation. In some way, if you have felt being the other, and certainly as a Jewish woman, I have felt that in many different circumstances. And the stories even, they trigger things within you. So the way this came about is Ayana Kaburi, who is the director of Authentic Voices, and she's going to speak in a minute, put this together. She's had many passions of singing and theater, and was a member of the Black Repertoire Dance Troupe of UC Davis, Yamaya Dance Troupe, and has done a number of things. This is really a wonderful thing that she's put on. And we have a number of members of Voices that are here today. So I would like to introduce them. They're going to give us a little taste of what Authentic Voices is like. My friend Jeanette Egan, Jerry Walker, Ami Barn, and Tim Garcia. And I just, hope that you can experience this. It comes with like no lectures. It's not trying to promote anything. It's just people telling their stories, and with openness, kind of creates a community of oneness that we all can relate to. So I'd like you to meet the director, Ayana Kaburi, and she's gonna tell us about this very brief but exciting presentation tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I feel so grateful to be here. I want to thank Barbara, Susan, and Sandy, and most especially Rabbi. Thank you for having us. I also want to thank Jeanette, because I don't think that we would be making this inroads into this community. I've never been in a synagogue before. This is the first time. I think it's the first time for many of us in my group. We come from a very inclusive spiritual community, the Center for Spiritual Awareness, that was founded by Reverend Georgia Prescott. And Reverend Georgia Prescott actually started Authentic Voices because she'd had experiences working in Reader's Theater before, working with women who were recovering from alcoholism, women that were experiencing differences and othering around being lesbian. So she started this. I was one of the founding members in 2013. So it seems like forever ago, and it was quite a while ago. I'm very grateful to have been a part of that beginning group and have evolved with the group over the years. And then when Reverend Georgia was ready to go on into the next iteration of herself, she asked me if I could be the director. So I'm very grateful to be able to do that. I am a ham at heart. I'm not even going to lie. I really don't have a problem with with microphones or any of that stuff. So it works for me, and I hope it works for you too. But let me just give you a little bit about how we got it all together, because I think what Barbara shared was a lot of the community that we started in. But what I'd like to share is, even though we have a very inclusive community, putting this together was extremely difficult. So can you imagine people coming together and asking and answering questions like, when's the first time you felt ashamed? How many people are going to be like, I can't wait to go to that group. Let's talk about it. It's not therapy. It's not therapy. When's the first time that you felt different? When's the first time that you felt racism? When's the first time that you felt homophobia? When's the first time that you felt that your life was threatened because you were different? These are the questions that we started in order to create the stories. And it was up to us, those that were in the room, to navigate how to write our story. So every week we'd come together and we'd say, okay, next week you're going to have a story written. And then the week would come and we'd get together and people would be like, I don't have anything, right? Because it's difficult, right? Isn't it difficult to be able to be authentic about who you are? So that took a long time. And then we had challenges with, I'm going to tell my story about being an African-American woman in a mostly white environment, where somebody says something like, tell me about your people. Oh, wait, we're going to talk about African-American culture. Ayana? And I have to represent my whole culture and race, right? That's challenging. Tell me about what it feels like to be Jewish in a community where people don't accept you. We're learning about that now because we have Jeanette being bold enough to share her story, and we're learning about that. We're learning about people every day in our group that we've been with for a while, but they tell a story and we learn another facet of who they are. And why do we do this? Does it sound, can I get away from the mic? Does it sound like fun to you all? Yeah. It kind of sounds hard, right? It is hard. But we do it because we believe that we will learn and grow and be in our oneness if we share who we really, really, really are, right? If we are authentic about who we are, then we will be authentic in a space with somebody else who's willing to be authentic about who they are, and then guess what's going to happen? A conversation, a connection, a sense of oneness, because we know that we're all one. That's what we believe at Center for Spiritual Awareness, that we're all one, we all look different, and we don't walk around saying, I don't see your differences, I don't see color, we're all the same. We don't say that. We see all of that. And what we see is beauty in that difference. Right? Amen? That's what my friends say. So we see the difference, we don't hide from the difference, and we keep digging and digging and digging and finding the little parts that it's hard for us to even talk about. We have in our book, we have in our stories about abortion, not from a pro-life or a pro-choice perspective, but from the perspective of a person who went through the experience. That's it. No wondering whether you feel and agree with it, but just this is a story. And it's probably going to resonate with somebody, even if it makes you mad, even if you don't agree with it. That's a moment of connection, because if you're bold enough, you can say, you know, I heard about the story and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, really? Did you know it? There's a connection. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand why we do this? We do this because we believe that we can have this connection between someone who's never been in a synagogue, who identifies as an African-American queer woman, a mother, an artist, a state worker, a consultant, a dancer, can actually talk to a rabbi and have a connection. And she told me I have warm hands, right? That makes me feel good, right? Because that means that we're making a human connection. So the stories are real. They're about us. There are stories. They're all real stories. They're not fabricated. They're from people that are currently in the group and of people that are no longer in the group. So that's something to keep in mind. But they are really authentic stories. And also, one other characteristic of this is that we don't really pay a lot of attention to gender in this story, since we don't really have a lot of males in our male-identified individuals in our group. Sometimes we play. You might think that I would be considered a woman, but in the story, I might be not a woman. Okay, and you might think that somebody would be older or younger, but they're going to play a part that's necessary for that moment. And so don't get caught up in this, the meat suit, because you will miss the story because you'll be too stuck up in it. I just want to say that our goal in this whole thing is to do the stories for you, and then at the end, talk to you. We do want to hold you because these are triggering stories at times. Some of them are hilarious, and you'll be like, and then you'll be like, oh my God, that was really rough. Or they're singing a song, and I'm okay now, but I'm still thinking about what that other story was. So at the end of the show, we stay right where we are, and we talk to you. You can talk to us, you can ask anything you want, you can share your outrage, you can share your joy, you can question. So we're not going to just do this and walk away and see it. You know, we're here with you to talk about the feelings as well. Now, we're not therapists, but we can certainly listen and we can share, because somebody else in your group is going to hear you say something, and that's going to make another connection. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So that's what Authentic Voices is. I'd like to introduce you to some of the members. We're not all here today, but some of the members. As you walk up, I'll say your name. Please come up and join us. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you a little, very short snippet of one of the stories so that you can be excited about coming to the show. This is Ami Sensele Barnes, Jerry Walker, Tim Garcia, David Rodriguez.
This piece has similar themes of the iconic film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, where color lines are drawn and there's an unhealthy dose of ugly.
I was in love. That once in a lifetime, I can't believe I found the one love. I couldn't wait to bring him home to meet the family. He was the one. Grandma, Grandma, I'm home. Look at that. Grandma, this is Pierre. Pierre? Honey, what? Pierre. He's French. Well, he's Swiss French. We, baby, he's white. He's not that kind of white, Grandma. He's French. I love you to death, baby, but he is not coming to my house now or ever. Grandma, I looked to my mother for comfort, who looked away in silent agreement and said,
He's right. They're all the same.
all I know is that we spent the next 3 holidays in Geneva, and I learned French. And he never did make it into my grandmother's house again. So, if that interests you, come to the show and see what actually happened with you.
Please join us on March 26th. Thank you so much.
Well, I certainly plan to be there. And I am very intrigued. I can tell already little places of triggering that just already happened. So I want to thank you and bless you, and we really look forward to your coming. That is an appetizer that I want some more of. I would like to invite Bob Bennett to come up, please, and share some announcements with us. You can look in the back of your handout for the next 2 events that are coming up and follow along. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow morning, we have our traditional Torah study online before the time change. So we'll see you at 9 o'clock for Torah study with the rabbi. Then on Sunday, after the time change, we have our wonderful concert series, the third of 3. And Michael Newman is with us tonight. And Michael, would you like to say something about the quartet, the quintet that's coming? Would you like to say something about the group that's coming, the quintet, is it?
Oh, it's just, it's a woodwind quintet, flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, made up of, and French horn, sorry, made up of all the principal players with the Folsom Lake Symphony Orchestra, which, by the way, I founded and conducted for 10 years. And I think it'll be just a very educational and fun event. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michael, for putting all the energy and effort into making this happen. The first 2 were great. We filled the sanctuary and hope to do that again on this Sunday after the time change. So also, if you find that the time change keeps you awake and you're up at 3 in the morning, you can go online to the Jewish Film Festival. And they've got films streaming 24 hours a day. So Holly and I have been watching some of the films, and I know others have too. Some amazing films in the film festival this year. So if you're interested and want to see some really interesting films with Jewish themes by Jewish directors, Jewish actors and actresses, look at it, go online. You don't have to do it at 3 in the morning. You can do it regular time too, and it's very worth your while. We do have the Passover Seder coming up, April 7th. It's a Friday night, so there won't be a traditional service. We will be having a Seder that night. And we are providing the main course, and you'll find more details of what you can provide on the flyers that come, but you do need to sign up so we'll know how many people that we can prepare for. So we'd be glad to have you as part of that. And then again, Authentic Voices, if we make sure that we put on our calendars Sunday afternoon, that's 4 o'clock after the time change in 2 weeks. And it's something I think that really will stimulate our conversation. So invite some friends, some other people to be part of it with us, and I look forward to having the group with us and having all of us there. So thank you for your participation. Oh, I want to say one other thank you. Queen Esther and Vashti and the Hinchets and Mordecai. What a job with the Purim spiel. Pardon? Minister of the King and his wife and Sarah. Yeah, so we had so much fun. We can't wait until next year so we can do it again. But it was really awesome. Yes, Rick?
I've already reached out to Roy and offered my services as his agent.
Oh, his agent. Yeah, Roy did a great job as president and so as the king. Although, you know, he took that role of king to everything he does around here, so we got to watch that. but we love them. Okay, thank you all. Glad you're here. Shabbat Shalom.
So we know what we're doing this Sunday, the 12th, and Purim came at the time of the full moon, right? It comes, our holidays often are at the new moon or the full moon, and so we're going to have, when we celebrate the next new moon, it's going to be here, and it's going to be on Monday the 20th. Usually it's for women. We welcome everyone. And each time we've been celebrating Rosh Chodesh, the new moon this year, it's been celebrating an herb or some kind of a spice that we don't know anything about or know little about. So this time it's going to be lavender. And Bonnie Nightel will be guiding us about the properties in the lavender and what it does for you. And so I'd like you to come, okay? Any others? Any other things? Okay. Let's continue on with our concluding prayers. Please turn to Aleinu, which is on page 586. Please stand. עלינו לשבח לדור הכל, לתת גדולה להיות זה בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, וכוחי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו וחסילתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ודעתה היום, והשמותה, אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחתינו. 591. ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. So I want to just give a quick follow-up about why I said women come to Rosh Chodesh, to the new moon. Men can come as well, but it comes from this week's Torah portion, where Moses was delayed in coming down from Mount Sinai. People got really frustrated. It was going to be a big protest, big revolt, big rebellion, big mess. And Aaron, who is Moses's brother, said, okay, we'll build a golden calf, bring your jewelry. And the women wouldn't do it. We could make a lot of comments about why we wouldn't give our jewelry, but it is really considered a moment of profound faith of these women. And so for that reason, they are given this monthly holiday called the new moon. So that's where, but in our community, we welcome everyone to come. Just remember, don't give up your jewelry and build a golden calf. All right, dear friends, we shift our thinking and we turn to page 598, and we remember. We remember those who have died within the 11 months. And it's our custom, as you know, to stand when our loved ones' names are mentioned and to kind of bow again if we're standing and another loved one's name is mentioned. We remember Wendy Phoenix, Maxine Jacobson, Ann Ball, Laura Sender Lawrence, Judah Rosen, Elaine Kaplow, Carlos Garcia, Eric Friedman, Herschel Adler, Barbara Norman,
Magali Grace Verana Apasoa, Murray Steingart, Gary John Newman, Ronald Claffer, Chris Bagoon, Cecile Ash, Chris Wynot, Ethan Nava, Bernard Elliott Ezralu, Judith Spivak, Bill McDonald, Alan Lickstein, Carol Trachtenberg, and Daniel Yashby. And we observe the yard sites of those who died at this time in years past. We remember Simon Ammer, Robin Ash, Renee Attia, Dennis Buter, Marion Capitman, Leland Robert Dottie, Robert Eisner, Harold Howard Fisher, Bernard Flank, Miriam Fogel, Bobby Ray Foreman, Phil Friedman, Rita Labovitz Guinness, Helen Hahn, Otto Hertz, Jean Hess, Barbara Kapsch, Alexander Kessler, Mac Malkin, Rachel Malamed, Sigal Meyer, Woodrow Miller, Hayes Elmont Parrish, Lita Reed, Joseph Reamer, Pearl Rosenberg, Grace Rosenfeld, Shirley Saroff, Annette Schultz, Fred Spindle, Charles Wolfman. Are there any other yard sites or recent deaths in our community?
Christine Verano.
Dr. Daniel Miller. Christine Verano. Tony Fairless.
Ian Domagolsky.
We stand as one family. And we remember with love the gift of the life and the lives that we have known. Page 598, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei chon uvyomei chon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. So my friends, we turn in our Siddur to page 643. And I want to thank Susan and Bruce for our oneg tonight. Thank you. We're looking forward to it. So the words are Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah. The bottom of page 643. Let us sing a song of praise. Hallelujah. So let's say the words Hava Nashira. Goes like this. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Your turn. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Different melody that goes together. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Please join us for some refreshments, which we call oneg, which means joy. It's kind of like the treat after the service. Please join us in the back. Ava, Ava, Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Shabbat Shalom.